It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life, from the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators, the famous and not so famous, the controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here's Douglas Coleman.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Ben Rood. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, doing really well, Douglas. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. Thank you for coming on. This was sort of a reschedule. We had you kind of on, or I talked to you for a couple of minutes a few days ago, and we started to talk about moving, which is the theme and title of your movie called Movers Ultimate, which comes out tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
great.
Streaming everywhere tomorrow.
Okay. And we got into this conversation. I wanted to bring it back up because I also studied acting a long time ago in New York City, and one of the little jobs that I had while I was doing that was moving furniture. And I got a real kick out of your movie. I watched the screener. It was very funny, by the way. And
thank you.
It just was funny to me because some of what happens to the guys in that, you know, we had similar experiences. I think I told you that every single customer that we had was a divorce. Every one.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. That's an interesting demographic. I think you probably want to disclose where that was so that newlyweds don't go and move there or anything like that. We get divorce moves, but that sounds high.
Well, it was New York City. Manhattan.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, especially when you're trying to kind of cut it out in the arts field, and it's kind of hard to find a day job where you can make enough money to kind of keep the lights on, keep on pursuing your dream, and then leave it at the office at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And then you can fully just, because it takes 100% commitment when it's so competitive out there, you know, if you're trying to be an actor. Also, it kind of helps you keep the carbs off just because you're burning thousands and thousands of calories all day.
Oh, well, it certainly was a good workout. I suspect that a lot of what's in this movie was things that you have experienced for real, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've moved for about 6 years now. Altogether, it's been over 2,000 moves. And so when you're there, and I'm sure that you talk to some of the people you work with, it's just, you find yourself saying, wow, this could be a movie. You're just on a crazy day, and it's like, this could be a movie. And so the guys are saying that, and I'm just kind of, yeah, it could be a movie, in fact. And I actually went to film school, and I'm trying to figure out, like, what my next feature movie should be. And we encounter some hilarious, crazy things. Yeah, let's take all of these crazy different experiences through all these moves, and I wonder if we can put them all together into one super awful move over the course of a day. And boom, you have the story of Movers Ultimate.
So you're the writer, director, and producer. You did not star in the film, right? You're not in it?
Well, there's a part where
you
have to have an ambulance. Yeah, and so since I do part-time firefighting, and so I'm used to driving ambulances and operating the cot. The cot's a 60,000 piece of machinery, and we were able to get the ambulance donated to us on the condition that I'm the one that's operating it. And so there's a paramedic in the movie, and so it was kind of, all right, well, you know, maybe it'll save us some money if I can memorize about 5 or 6 lines. And then that's my cap. You know, I'm definitely more of a behind the camera kind of guy. So
okay. Well,
threw on Rip. Yeah, just a small role. So my mug is in there too. So writer, director, producer, small bit part.
Okay, I do remember that scene. So all right, so you were one of the EMT guys, yeah?
That's me. Yeah, I'm the one that's operating the cot for legal reasons.
Oh, okay. All right. It's always difficult for me when I have filmmakers on the show to try to talk about the film without spoiling the film. You have to talk around it.
Sure.
And it gets to be a bit of it's kind of an art form to be able to talk about something without really talking about it. In this case,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's huge spoilers or not. I'll leave that up to you. What do you think?
Well, we could talk about a few things, but I'd rather not have any huge spoilers. If we can try and keep it cryptic, I'd prefer that.
Okay. All right. The humor was funny.
Use your discretion.
Okay.
Okay.
The humor was funny. The sarcasm was really good.
Thanks. Back in film school, there was a web series that I did, and I was huge on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia at the time. And so I just thought, well, if they can do that, I can do that. And so I made something that wasn't nearly as good as that, called Party Heroes. And that was kind of the super low budget, awful version that gave me foundation to making kind of raunchy humor. And it taught me what not to do. And I think that this is kind of, if I had a budget and experience, this kind of turned out like the college web series that I was trying to make about 10 years ago.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about that, because certainly there are a lot of films that have raunchy humor, and raunchy humor can be very funny. On the other hand, I've seen stand-up comics that do nothing but swear on stage,
Sure.
and it's not funny, because if you do it for the sake of doing it, it isn't funny to me. If you do it with other intricacies involved, then it can be funny, it can be witty, it can be good. You know, an appropriate swear word here and there to emphasize something.
So not using swearing as a crutch.
Well, not using it as your baseline. You know, that just seems ridiculous, right? So what I wanted to ask you was, when you're making a film, because that takes it to the next level, you've got to show it as well as talk about it. Can you go overboard with that? I mean, can it be just raunchy for the sake of raunchy and it's not funny?
Well, I definitely did that before 10 years ago when I was doing that web series. And I remember thinking, I was way more sophomore than I am now. I am not a super mature guy right now. Let's not get crazy, but coming up with just things that were just gross to be gross were very self-indulgent. And I noticed that when I was watching it, like with people, and then years later especially. And so when we were doing this one, this is raunchy and vulgar, but also we did table reads. I went through the script, like 100 times with a fine-tooth comb. And to me, every swear word that I put in there, something that is just, this is how this person would talk. We had everyone give their lines beforehand. We would take out swear words. We would replace them. We took out some jokes that were definitely too inappropriate. And so there's some people that are going to find this movie a little offensive, and we're not trying to please everybody, but we took the people that I worked with, moving furniture, and then we looked at funny comedies. The good ones, I think, are things like Knocked Up and Superbad. Adventureland was a big one.
Okay.
And those are movies also that just they're going to swear, but they're not just going to be gross just to be gross. There
was a movie called Euro Trip. I don't know if you remember that one.
Sure.
Okay. And
I enjoyed Euro Trip.
Euro Trip was very funny.
It is.
But the opening credits, I think they should have changed. Just because, when they went through the it was like they did a spoof on the little handout in the front seat pocket in the airplane, where it's showing you all the safety precautions. And then they went through this whole period of everybody vomiting in cartoon. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember the idea of it. I don't remember the vomit.
Okay.
But if this is what you're saying, it's kind of ringing a bell, and I know what you mean. That movie was funny.
The movie was great.
We quote that one at work.
Yeah, the movie was fine. But that
it was
vomit
enough where it didn't have to rely on stuff like that.
Right.
And the thing is, it's so good. It's too bad that's the thing that you're going to remember from it. It's like, sorry, it's a crime of your own creativity. Sorry, we're going to remember the one thing that just didn't land.
And it's too bad because, like you said, the rest of the movie was fine. But when I watched it again, because it's one of those that you can kind of watch over and over, I thought, what were they thinking with this? Because it goes on for too long, and they just beat that horse to death with that particular thing. And it was totally unnecessary. And I thought, somebody should have nailed that in editing and just cut it to like 2 little quick clips instead of, I don't know, I didn't even count, but it was like 8 or 9 of the same clip, basically. Okay.
And when you get to the post-production process for something like that, who knows? They're coming up on a huge deadline. They're going to open on, 1,000 screens. They're probably going, okay, the director might be tapped out. He's probably talking to a bunch of suits are saying, we're going to do this. We're bringing in another editor. He's going to follow our notes. And when you're that far down the line and the studio knows that they've got the movie on its hooks, I only know what goes on behind closed doors. In the post-production sequence, they could have completely turned that over to somebody else. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? It could have just slipped through, too, because it's not that long. I'm just one of those real nitpicky type people. So,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You should direct.
Well, the ideas cross my mind.
It's a good place to be a perfectionist.
Yeah. Let me ask you something that's on your bio here. I'm just going to read it. I had a panic attack in front of Charlize Theron when I was trying to show off my muscles, and a spider crawled on me.
Well, she's a very beautiful woman.
Well,
obviously,
yeah.
I was showing off in front of her.
Well, how did you? I mean, how did you do that? Because did you take your shirt off and say, "Hey, baby, take a look"? I mean, you weren't that crass about it, were you?
Oh no, not quite. I was only a little bit crass. Yeah, the day job I had in L.A. while I was trying to push my Scripps, I was a landscaper for a high-profile clientele, and so we went over to Charlize's place, and she leads me up to her bedroom, and it's me and her, and she's just like, the tree goes over in that pot, and I've got a 6-foot tree on my shoulder, and when she's leading the way, I'm kind of hiking my sleeve over the bicep just a little bit, trying to keep it very casual. And I'm like, oh, this tree over here acted like the tree's not heavy when it's like crushing my freaking back. She's like, yes, put it over there. Like, this clearly isn't her first rodeo. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just put this tree down over here. Super easy. And as I'm setting it down inside the pot, oh my gosh, and I have terrible arachnophobia, and it's not great being in Southern California where black widows exist. And this freaking black widow crawls out of the base of the tree, the root ball, onto my hands as I'm holding it over the pot that's got these holes in it. Just we hadn't lined it yet, and I don't want to get dirt on the floor, and there's a spider on me, and I just can't breathe or move. And she's staring at me as I'm bent, hunched over, and my boss comes in the room. He's like, Ben, what are you doing? And then I'm like, spuh, spuh, spuh. He's like, did a spider crawl on you? And she just finally turns to my boss and goes, what is wrong with him? And I'm like, spider. My boss has to come, and he has to pretty much save me. He has to pull it out of my hands. He helps me like brush the spider off. I ran out of the room. Yeah,
well,
swing and a miss.
That's funny stuff. I didn't see that scene in the movie. Did you not want to write that in? Because that would have been good. Just something like that.
Yeah, that's the next one. Yeah. There's only so much room for self-incrimination in each movie that I'm going to do. So this one will be moving, and the next one we can do my misadventures in landscaping.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I mean, you could have had the spider come out of a bureau or a desk or something, anything, right?
Yeah. I'd rather not write a scene with spiders. I'm just getting chills thinking about it. I have not recovered.
Oh, okay. Well, did you see We Are the Millers, if you want to talk about spiders?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, the testicle scene.
Yeah.
That, sometimes it's just so funny that you get over it. I can stare at that sack for as long as it's on pause. That is so freaking funny.
It was really good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it until after I watched the movie the second time, but that was the kid from Narnia 3 that he had grown up a bit.
Oh my God! You know what? He is one of the most the biggest chameleons that's out there. Was he in The Revenant?
Well, okay, I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know.
Oh man, yeah, Will Poulter.
That sounds right.
Say, God, he is about 5 minutes away from an Academy Award.
He's a good actor.
He's a serious actor.
Yeah, and he was
and
that.
His body transformation is ridiculous. It's weird. As soon as he hit puberty, it's like, oh, he's scary.
Yeah.
He's a very intimidating guy.
He was that snotty kid in the third Narnia, the one that was so pompous.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, he pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a good job. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. I know you probably have more interviews, right? Do you have more for today, or is this the last one?
I have one more for today. Just one more, and then I think tomorrow I'm just kicking it, and I'm going to enjoy watching the movie as it releases.
Well, there you go. All right. The movie is called Movers Ultimate. My guest is Ben Rood. He's the writer, director, and producer. Where is the movie going to be available for people to watch?
Well, on our website, moversmovie.com, we're going to have links to all the streaming platforms. But if you have a smart TV, you can click on your Apple TV, iTunes, Vudu, Google Play, or Amazon links, and it'll be playing on those. They all should be launching at some point tomorrow. I'm right now looking at the Google and the Vudu links. They're just waiting on the clock to turn August 19th for it to start playing. Okay.
You said moversmovie.com?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll put that in the show notes.
Yep.
All right.
The trailer on there, a lot of BTS photos, just a bunch of good stuff.
Great. Ben, thanks so much for coming on the show. This was fun talking to you. Best of luck with the film. I hope it does well.
Yeah. Well, me too, obviously. But yeah, thank you for checking it out. Really appreciate the kind words.